Hello everyone, and once again, a very warm welcome to all of you to ACCA's Fireside Chat. Today we have Mr. Sajjeed Aslam, Head of ACCA Pakistan with us. Sajjeed, Assalamu alaikum, क्या हाल है आपके? कैसे हैं आप? ठीक ठाक हैं? How's everything?
Life has never been better.
Yeah, that's excellent. Thank you very much for taking time out for our Fireside Chat. We are very happy to have you here.
Thank you.
So let's begin, Sajjeed. So let's begin with the Sajjeed when Sajjeed was growing up. We want to know everything about you, how it all started for you, what were your struggles, आप कैसे जो आपकी सारी journey थी कैसे शुरू हुई? What was the world like when you were growing up, Sajjeed, and where did it all begin from?
No, thank you. I think I'm from a very regular business family from Lahore. I born in Faizabad, which is basically in Rune Lahore, जिसको आज हम या Walled City के नाम से जानते हैं. Schooling मेरी सारी लाहौर की है, उर्दू मीडियम की है दरमियान में, कुछ इंग्लिश मीडियम है, कुछ उर्दू मीडियम है, so it's all mixed. Then I never been a very bright student. I was average, below average most of the time. Then metric के बाद, I am from a metric stream. Metric के बाद I went to government college for 2 years, and luckily, I think at a very early stage I was very clear that what I want to become. The days were not great the way like our kids are enjoying. Entitlements का कोई इतना रवाज नहीं था उस वक्त. गली में खेलते थे हम, हॉकी खेलते थे, क्रिकेट खेलते थे, छतों पे टापते थे, गुड़ियाँ उड़ाते थे, शतरंज खेलते थे, कार्ड्स खेलते थे, मतलब all that very regular life जो उस वक्त की थी. And then I think from 8th grade we started talking about okay, what we're gonna do in life. So यहाँ से वो conversation शुरू हुई. My father was from Azam market, so I'm the first, or me and my brother are the first one जो family business में नहीं गए, and they decided to get into the employment one. Advantage, disadvantages, we can talk about it, but एक advantage definitely I always recognize कि coming from the business family हमारी risk appetite and what we call the the adversity quotient. If there is a problem, we know how to handle that part, or we at least create a right response towards that. वो हमारे एक घर से business family की वजह से एक सारा कुछ चलता है.
And it matters a lot. Having that confidence and the risk appetite. I think it really helps you as one progresses in their lives.
Then I think I wrote a first story at the 8th grade जो एक उर्दू magazine में छपी, और उसके बाद then that gave me the first confidence कि नहीं हम जा सकते हैं. We can talk about this stuff, or there is a market out there. अभी मेरा मैट्रिक का रिजल्ट नहीं आया था, पेपर दिए हुए थे, छुट्टियाँ थी. I went to a computer college. I'm talking like 91, 92 की बात है, और उस वक्त उस कंप्यूटर कॉलेज से मैंने कोर्स किया, और वहीं पे लकीली दे ऑफर्ड मी कि इफ यू वांट टू टीच देयर. सो उसमें ये होता था कि मैं सुबह गवर्नमेंट कॉलेज जा रहा होता था, और इवनिंग में आई यूज्ड टू गो टू दैट कंप्यूटर कॉलेज टू टीच. I was teaching there, right? So initially I did my some courses, and then I started teaching there. और मेरे जो स्टूडेंट्स होते थे उसमें ऐसे भी था कि दादा और पोता बैठा हुआ है. That was the first time when I was exposed to the life, और जहाँ पे आपके conflicts आते हैं, you handle different kind of people, और वो शायद education institute में हम वो चीज़ें उस तरह नहीं सीख पाते. So that was a added advantage. In a 2-3 years from that computer college teaching, I went to Frontier Post for the sub editing and all that part, and that was altogether a different life. You can well imagine the guy with the age of 16-17, और वो आप studios में फिर रहे हैं, then you are meeting all kind of celebrities, actors, and there were new movies coming up, and you are a part of that discussion.
तो आप इससे inspire नहीं हुए? I mean उस life से, but you sort of
I think I was, but that helped me a lot. I definitely. अब हमारे उस circle में, when we were talking about that, हमारे circle में the kind of people who were started coming in, मोहसिन नकवी से interaction शुरू हो गई. Then a couple of times इशफाक अहमद से मुलाकात हुई. फिर then reading books जो था वो एक बड़ा अच्छा component था, especially मुमताज मुफ्ती, इशफाक अहमद, all that side जो हमारी उर्दू literature की, and that helped a lot. Even before my exams, when there is anything where, let's say if I'm stressed, so मेरी ब्रेक का सबसे अच्छा जो तरीका होता था वो था एक किताब पकड़ो और उसको 2-3 घंटे अपने आप को उस किताब में गुम कर दो. आजकल उसका alternate आपके पास YouTube आ जाता है, you watch it rather than read it. So I think those things help. और उन्होंने एक maturity level भी develop किया. एंड वी वर वेरी वेरी लकी एट दैट एज कि हमारे पास कुछ मेंटोर्स ऐसे थे जिन्होंने हमें लाइफ और उसके पर्पस से रिलेटेड बात करनी शुरू की. In a computer college there was a guy and he specifically asked me कि sit down, एक सफ़ेद कागज़ पकड़ो और उस पर लिखो कि तुम यहाँ कहाँ खड़े हो और तुमने कहाँ जाना है. And I'm talking about the age of 14 and 15 के दरमियान में हम ये conversation कर रहे हैं. It took me 7-8 hours to really write it down कि मैं यहाँ खड़ा हूँ और मैंने कहाँ जाना है. And then I have to create the different pathways how to get there. And I think that's a one advice I always bring it back to the young students as well कि ये जो 7-8 घंटे थे ना मेरे लिए लाइफ के लिए उसमें एक ऐसी क्लैरिटी थी कि मेरा आउटकम क्या होना है, मैंने पहुंचना कहाँ. और उसमें बहुत से रोड ब्लॉक आए, आप एक साइड से चले एंड देन यू फिगर आउट कि ये पाथ सही नहीं है, टफ है या आगे रोड ब्लॉक है, यू चेंज द पाथ एंड यू स्टार्ट मूविंग इट. लेकिन आपको एटलीस्ट अपनी पहला जो माइलस्टोन था उसका अंदाजा होता. When I was still like intermediate or BCom के दरमियान when we were moving around, I started sitting on one of a shop. My father bought a shop, so business में भी चले गए, computer sale purchase भी किया. So by the time when I did my BCom, I was ready कि business होता क्या है, right? तो उसमें आके थोड़ा सा हिले भी यार, professional accounting में जा रहे हैं, now we are more knowledgeable. There is a lifestyle, लेकिन effort बड़ी लगती है, मेहनत करनी पड़ती है उसमें. So we started looking for the training. उस वक्त यही होता था, बीकॉम के बाद आप ट्रेनिंग लेते हैं और ट्रेनिंग के दौरान आप एग्जाम्स अपने क्लियर कर रहे होते हैं या आप एग्जाम पहले क्लियर करते हैं, देन यू गो फॉर ट्रेनिंग. सो वहाँ पे एक एडवांटेज मुझे ये हुआ कि मेरे फादर के ही हैज़ गॉट अ फ्रेंड और उनकी अब डेथ हो गई, अल्लाह उनको जन्नत नसीब करे. ही वाज वेरी काइंड एंड ही बेसिकली लेट मी गेट ट्रेन इन हिज फर्म.
ओके.
एंड जिस दिन मैं पहली दफ़ा मिला ना, उन्होंने कहा कि बेटा आप जाके ना एग्ज़ाम क्लियर करके आए और फिर ट्रेनिंग में आए कि ये एग्ज़ाम नहीं होते ट्रेनिंग के साथ ना, नहीं कर पाते. एंड दैट वाज द ट्रिगर. अच्छा कोई नहीं कर पाता, दैट वाज द इंटरेस्टिंग कन्वर्सेशन. अच्छा कोई नहीं कर पाता, देन आई हैव टू डू दैट. आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू द वे कि जो सारे करके आते हैं. आई हैव टू डू समथिंग जिसको उन्होंने कहा कि ये नहीं हो पाता.
So you're driven by challenge. The challenge.
That's where really drives comes out. Then I started my training there, and it was tough. It wasn't easy thing. What he said, it wasn't easy thing. And at the same time, unfortunately, we went into a very severe financial crisis. My father's business collapsed, and then the family was looking up to me for the support side, the financial support. अब training के साथ, although we getting stipend, लेकिन उस ज़माने में 800,000 रुपये stipend हुआ करता था, which is good enough कि आप अभी अपना maximum बड़ी हद तक, and I'm talking about 97. So it was good enough कि आप अपना सिर्फ आना जाना पूरा कर लें और खाना पीना मैक्सिमम आप पूरा कर लें. There were days when I have to choose between cigarette and lunch, and you know my priority was cigarette, so I always skip the lunch and I go for cigarette अगर मुझे बाय करना पड़ता. Then I ended up कि अच्छा अब करना क्या है, ट्रेनिंग तो नहीं छोड़ी जा सकती और ये अब तो मैंने स्टार्ट कर लिया और इसमें तो चैलेंज था कि ये होता नहीं. I picked up tuition in the morning. And then I picked up some of the odd jobs in the evening side of it. और अब होता ये था कि मैं सुबह 5 बजे घर से निकलता था. I go for tuition. I used to like 2 बच्चों को ट्यूशन पढ़ाता था. And then I go by 9 o'clock I have to be in office. उसके बाद वहाँ से they would, I think again credit goes to the firm and our manager. They were very very candid के guys, हम responsible है ना, हम आपके 9 to 4:30 इतने hours in a week हम responsible हैं and we will make sure कि आपको इससे ज़्यादा काम ना करना पड़े. The guy was like उनका as a mentor and as a manager, I think he was very very ideal at that stage. So क्योंकि हमें 4:30-5 बजे छुट्टी हो जाती थी तो 6 बजे से लेके रात 12 बजे तक I picked up another activity for earning, और वो भी एक कॉलेज में पढ़ाना और सारा कुछ करना. So now my day used to start at 5 and it used to end at 12. And I did that for almost 3.5 years consistently. अब उसमें जो challenge था, that was the interesting one कि ये नहीं होता training के साथ. I appeared in my first exam and I passed all in the first attempt. And that's where I got the confidence. और उसके पीछे जो एक बहुत बड़ी drive थी वो ये थी कि मेरे साथ जो मेरे juniors आ रहे थे उस वक्त, वो सारे exam pass करके आ रहे थे. So that was quite embarrassing as a senior. मैंने कोई एग्जाम नहीं पास किया और उन्होंने सारे एग्जाम पास किए, but they were kind enough, उन्होंने अपनी किताबें ला के दी क्योंकि किताब खरीदना भी एक मसला था उस वक्त. Books were expensive. Tuition का तो सोचा ही नहीं जा सकता था कि that was another cost which I could have paid. So उन्होंने books ला के दी, उन्होंने मुझे बैठ के पढ़ाया, समझाया, comparisons दिए, और because there were 3 or 4 different people, so they helped me a lot. So first exam में बैठे पास हो गए, दूसरी next session आया जो उसमें different modules थे, next module में बैठे पास हो गए, उसके बाद थोड़ा सा gap आया, then there was a third module, sat in exam पास हो गए. Now it was a final one. और final exam जो होता है ना, वो किसी भी accountant के लिए ना वो एक बहुत ज़्यादा nervousness होती है उस stage पे, because
बिल्कुल
as soon as you pass, you become an authority, you can sign a lot of stuff, you become a professional accountant, आपको membership मिल जाती है, आप accredited होते हैं, you can use the term like designations use कर सकते हैं, you can hold yourself out as an accountant, आप practice कर सकते हैं. There are a lot of benefits or entitlements which are linked with that. So जब हम उस एग्जाम पे पहुंचे, वहाँ पे हमारी फाइनेंशियल क्राइसिस और बढ़ चुका हुआ था, and I have to pick up a tuition for the kids in grade 2 and 3. And believe me, that was very very tough. So teaching somebody, a senior guy, college या university में कोई उसको बैठ के पढ़ाना versus जो second और third grade का वो करवाना. और उन्हीं दिनों मेरे एग्जाम हो रहे थे, मैं एग्जाम देता था, वापस आता था, ट्यूशन पढ़ाता था, फिर तैयारी करता था. और उसके लिए भी again one of my friend, he lent me the books, क्योंकि again books expensive थी, ट्यूशन हम पढ़ नहीं सकते थे. There was a one drive last paper में कि अगर फेल हो गए ना तो फीस नहीं दी जानी दोबारा. So पास होने के लिए मेहनत तो अपनी जगह पे, लेकिन अगर फेल हो गए ना तो ये जो फीस हमने दी हुई है, ये that is really become a challenge अगर दोबारा देनी पड़े. So और उस जमाने में ये होता था, एक पेपर में फेल हो तो you have to go through the entire group. So वहाँ पे luckily with the blessing of my, like I always give a credit to prayers of my mother and the family, I passed it. और जब मैंने पास किया तो अभी मेरी ट्रेनिंग में 6 months रहते थे, and वहाँ से फिर I got certain engagement with one of a multinational. They offered me a job. They said, come and join. I said, I can't. There's 6 months I have to go through. They waited. And till, like, as soon as I ended my training, I got my first job with that MNC in 15 days time. But वो engagement जो मेरी उस employer के साथ शुरू हुई थी, that was way before I completed my training. So वो networks में, जो हमेशा हम भी बात करते होते हैं कि आपकी net worth is your network. So within the network there was a word of mouth कि this is a guy who passed all the exams in the first time. He's capable, मेहनती है, you know, the reputation that you carry. So वो reputation जो थी, that helped me to really get engaged with the one of MNC, and that's where my professional career starts.
सीधा आपने content की बात की, and we are sitting in a digital age. What do you think is the future? What do you think the future of education looks like? और इस digital age का जो educational landscape पे ऊपर influence है, what do you think that is going to be like in the future?
If you ask me personally, I always compare that the education and entertainment industry is now the same. Both deliver the content, they try to influence the mindset, and then they try to evaluate the impact around.
Pretty much what we are doing right now.
Exactly. Yeah. So if I pick up one movie from Netflix and I watch it, I will learn something, or at least I'll have more information about something. Now the question is whether Netflix can evaluate the impact and create a data point, which could be a certificate or a degree for me, that in 3 hours, the way I watched the movie and the outcome of that movie, whatever they have decided in terms of the learning outcome, can they evaluate it? If tomorrow Netflix brings something where they can evaluate it, so I think the business education or even the technical education would be more like a movie, and then it would be evaluated through a certain tools online.
So you do see platforms such as Netflix and other similar platforms.
YouTube, all these are the perfect example.
Becoming the new colleges and universities.
Exactly. Yeah. At least it's a delivery model for that education. So when you talk about the university is not only about delivering a content and evaluating, it's also about the networking, it's about the peer interaction, it's about knowing people, different people with a difference of opinion, handling conflicts, all those things that comes when you interact with people, whether in a university environment, which is more structured, or in your social environment.
But don't you feel that you know, as you explained, and you have explained that different platforms they are going to be setting the tone, or they're going to be bringing out educational content, but abhi aapne khud kaha कि it's also limiting in a way, because बहुत सी ऐसा exposure है जो आपको, let's say, you know, just developing just general social skills.
Exactly.
उसके अंदर people will suffer.
I wouldn't say suffer. I would say let's say, I'll give you another example. For example, I pick a course from Coursera, which Howard is offering, right? So there's a certification course, I pick that up. And then I go and meetup.com and I'll try to figure out that within my surrounding, mere area mein, shahar mein, kitne log hain jo ye course kar rahe hain. I'll fix a weekend meetings with them. So I'll start having my own peer interaction. But you know what I'm doing? It's an initiative coming from my side.
Coming from you. That is exactly what I was about to say.
Thing.
Yes.
But
so
now in this new world or new era, initiative and the drives count a lot. I also foresee, and that would be the best model, where people will be delivering the same content in a blended model. So the content may be coming from Coursera, but they might be sitting in a similar setup with a certain audience around, right? And then with that audience, somebody can moderate that particular content, and that would be the future of the learning.
But Sajjeed, उस level की self awareness भी तो होना बहुत ज़रूरी है, and that is something that is going to be, I mean, if you ask me, I think that is going to be the missing link. So unless and until we enable or we create that awareness of you know in people कि जी उन्होंने इन चीज़ों पे जाके खुद से काम करना है, whether the educational landscape changes or whether we talk about now or past. In our case or your case,
there's no choice. So it's not a matter of choice that I can do or I'll choose something else. If you will not do it, you are not part of the new era. You are not part of the socio-economic system, right? You will not keep up. You will left behind. And the pace of change and the way the world is going right now, I think with that pace, and that's another, I would definitely put that as an example. If you have to really drive a car very fast, you need everything to be calibrated up to 100%. If you have to drive slow, you can live with that. Kecha tire mein hawa kam thi, thoda sa alignment out. But if you are going on a 200 km/h, you can't afford that. So aapko un cheezon ko calibrate karna hai. Or you are not on that car. You are not on that road even. So ye choices hain. If we are making those choices, if we choose not to work hard, if we choose not to take initiative, if we choose not to drive ourselves, or if we choose not to become a part of a certain ecosystem, that's our choice. And that's totally okay. But we should understand the consequences. And we should be okay with the consequences as well. We are not entitled for success, right? Nobody is entitled for success. You are entitled to make an effort. And then that effort should be proportionate to what other people are making those efforts, right? So if they are making effort more than you are making, so definitely the end results will be different for both of you.
Did you have two, mashallah, you have two wonderful daughters. They're young kids. I believe your eldest one is about 15 or 16.
Yep.
And मुझे ये थोड़ा बहुत पता है कि they were, I think about 2-3 years back, they had set up their own business. So that कितने साल की उम्र, 13-14 साल की उम्र में your eldest daughter had her own sort of an online business. So when we found out, I was also very intrigued that, you know, I mean, because I also have two daughters, but you have sort of encouraged your very young children to focus on business. Yeah. So what is your sort of, iski piche aapki kya approach hai, and what's
if to be very exact, I think they started or they engaged in understanding the business and the business dynamics at the age of 10 and 11. So I've got two. So that's the age where they started, and we were like in a classroom setup. We were sitting there. I had a whiteboard, and we were explaining what the idea is. Then they start talking about, and then they talked about the team and the resources and all that. And then they put together a very good presentation that how the business really works. And normally, and they realize in this process at the 10 and 11, the investment is the last thing you should be worried about. It's the idea, proof of concept, and the team. If you get these 2-3 things sorted out, there are investment. Beg, borrow, steal model. You will ask your father, cousin, dadi, nani, आप कहीं से ला के पैसे इकट्ठे करके आप proof of concept पे आ जाते हो. I personally think staying in an education mode till the age of, let's say, 20-25, and then really exposed to the real world, that does not help, because
but that's what we did. I mean, you and I both did that.
You know, I started very early.
Yeah, so, but you, in your case,
in my case, I started very early. So that's really helped me to pass even my most competitive exams in the first attempt, because I have got certain experience and perspective. And when you're talking about the professional education, that experience and perspective helps. So they are very keen. They want to get out of the education system and they want to get into the practical life. And interestingly, they found that the ACCA is the shortest route they can use. So they will complete their O-level, A-level, they will go through ACCA, and one wants to become a chef, other wants to become a fashion designer.
But they're going to do ACCA so that they get their education out of the way, and finance, you can never go wrong with it, because
you can't go wrong with the business. And ACCA is no more a finance one; it's a more like a business education. And we see a lot of young members into the business. We are talking about the restaurant business, the supply chain side, the trading, warehousing, technology. I think they are all over the places in terms of the business. So the content is good in that form. And then if they get there, by that time they will have 3, 4, 5 failures with them. They have started one and it was miserably failed. वो शाल भी गए चीजें लेके आए, and then they realized कि it's not going to work. उन्होंने एक website भी बनाई. Then they realized कि यार ये तो website हमसे manage ही नहीं होती. Then they went for a course. So that's where they first time identified कि उनका ये skill missing है कि website को manage कैसे करना है, चीजें upload कैसे करनी है, pictures कैसे लेनी है, pictures को edit कैसे करना है. They have gone. And
also in entrepreneurship, failure is not considered a really bad thing. Exactly. I mean, you learn from it, and you move on, and you go and
and then they had made another second attempt at the age of 13. They made a second attempt, and they tried to put those things together, and then this papers came in, and they were unable to manage the vendor in the right way. And that was a new learning, that the supply chain and the value chain is an important component, and every piece within the value chain is important. And I think another learning which they brought, and normally they talk about, storyline. They could not create that emotional connection with their business and the society at that stage, in a second attempt. In a third attempt, they managed to have a vendor who can run the supply chain side of it. They managed to have a vendor who can run the technology side of it. And they focused on the emotional connection and the storyline of it. And that's still like up and running. It's not doing well right these days because the exams and all other stuff going, but that's a live business. So they just have to, once they are done with their current exams in the next 2-3 months, they will start again, and they will experiment again, and then they will be away. So that's the individual behaviors which keep changing. But at least what they have learned during that journey at the age of 16, sometimes I'm not very sure whether our business education with a master's and a bachelor's degree can really bring those very practical issues out. People can understand how it's going to work or how they're going to manage the conflicts.
What do you think would be, if you were to engage with some of our younger audience, हमारे members हो गए, even affiliates हो गए, what would be your really heartfelt message to them? Being the head of ACCA Pakistan and being a corporate leader, what would be your sort of a true message to them?
First, let's start with you use the word like huge. So let's correct that one. Pakistan is short of in terms of the professional accountant. We still have got, like, at any given point of time, you have 2 million people who are in a higher education system. Once it's come to the degree program, and you don't get 15,000-20,000.
Oh yes, I mean, of course, there's a huge shortage of.
We have got a significant shortage there. But just coming back to that, what should be the message, the primary message? So the primary message would be: understand the ethical dilemmas. You have to have a right response. Understand your responsibility to uphold public trust. That's a very, very big responsibility, and to earn trust of somebody, I think that's means somebody, you are responsible to make sure that you uphold that later as well. Your routine, how you carry yourself, how you provide an opinion, I think those are the things you should be very careful around it. So accounting, or professional accounting in general, is all around maintaining that trusted relationship with the society, not only with the businesses, but with the society.
So let's say in a place like Pakistan, हमारी आप economy को देखें, हमारी आप you know, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. We all know what problems we have in Pakistan. Do you think that in such an environment, there is that again, I'll use the term sort of there is that self-awareness of upholding that public trust? When people might be, I mean, जो भी हमारी you know, जो भी प्रॉब्लम्स हैं पाकिस्तान में, महंगाई ले लें, कोई चीज़ ले लें, आप पेट्रोल की प्राइसेस ले लें, आप कुछ भी ले लें, तो वहाँ पे जब हम इसकी बात करते हैं तो वहाँ पे आप होल्डिंग द पब्लिक ट्रस्ट एंड ये सारी, डोंट यू फील दैट इन सच एनवायरनमेंट्स दैट sort of takes the back seat and people are more sort of focused towards their meeting their day-to-day needs? What would you sort of say about that?
I think meeting the day-to-day need is definitely it's different than the upholding public trust. I don't think there's anything which can differ. कि आप trust नहीं maintain कर सकते because you are unable to maintain your daily like whatever the day-to-day life.
No, मैं वैसे एक बात कर रहा हूँ कि I mean you know हम अगर चलें टैक्स की बात कर लें,
if you talk about the corruption, if you talk about let's say talk about the bribery.
मैं नीचे एक दुकानदार हमारे कहीं पे आगे bribery हो जाए, कुछ हो जाए,
bribery हो गया, आपको वहाँ पे उसने रेड लाइट पे रोक लिया, अब आपने चालान पे करना है या आपने ब्राइब करना है, you know these are the very valid dilemmas which we go every day. और इसके consequences when you make a choice, let's say आप कहते हो कि नहीं मैंने there is a certain situation and somebody is asking for a gratuity and you are not paying them, and there is a consequence that you will end up paying more in a legitimate way. But if you go on a long-term basis, that's one thing. You will find out when you build your character that you are not the type of guy who will pay those gratuities and you will fight your case in a legitimate way, whatever it costs. You might have some hindrances in an initial stage, but once you build that reputation, nobody going to come and ask you for that, and your work will, the things will happen in a different way. That's one part. दूसरा part ये है कि अल्लाह ताला जो कहते हैं ना, वो कहते हैं मेरा रास्ता सही है, कहीं ये नहीं कहा कि वो आसान है, ठीक है? सो हम आसानियां नहीं ढूंढनी, हमें जो चीज़ सही है हमें वो करनी है. तीसरा, मेरा इकोसिस्टम या मेरे सर्कमस्टांसेस जो हैं, that's not gonna define who I am. I am gonna define who I am. So मुझे अपना कैरेक्टर खुद डिफाइन करना है, और मेरा कैरेक्टर लोगों के रिस्पॉन्सेज पे चेंज नहीं होगा कि एक बंदा अच्छा है तो मैं उसके साथ अच्छा हूँ, एक बुरा है तो मैं उसके साथ बुरा. आई विल रिमेन सजीद असलम रिगार्डलेस कि वो अच्छा है या वो बुरा है. मैंने उसको जो रिस्पॉन्स देना है वो वही देना है जो किसी भी सिचुएशन में सजीद असलम ने देना है, एंड दैट्स वेयर द कैरेक्टर कम्स इनटू प्ले. सो जब हम ट्रस्ट की बात करते हैं और हम टफ सिचुएशंस की बात करते हैं, तो मैंने मेरे ख्याल आपके साथ अपने इनिशियल स्टेजेस शेयर किए. आई कुड हैव मेड डिफरेंट चॉइसेस, राइट? Like God was kind enough, I was not forced to. And I managed to get into the situation, and I managed to get into the life, which is quite rewarding. But it has got a certain journey, and there are certain choices which we made. Yeah. But it's paid off.
Sajjeed, are you happy with the current education system of this country?
I think if you pick up the education system of any country, nobody is happy with that. I think it was not designed to really provide a solution what the type of problems which we are facing today. And once you bring it to the Pakistan, I think we have underinvested in terms of the education for last 70 years. Our education system is not there, even close what it should be. But it doesn't mean that it can't change. With the technology, you don't have to go through the same process again. You just have to train the society to start learning in a different way. Again, जैसे हमने शुरू में बात की कि content के platforms available हैं. Whether families or the parents are going to recognize this, and are they going for a homeschooling? That's one of the options which people are exercising using khanacademy.com, right? So there are Coursera available for the higher education side of it. So, and these are the mediums, whether the employers are going to accept that medium as an education one. And it's a world-class education. It's not something which you can't compare. It's a comparable one. Now the question comes into, as a students, are we driven enough? As a family and the parents, are we willing to provide that support structure for the student and recognize that they can learn that way? If they can watch a video, they can spend time on the Instagram and TikTok and all that. It has got a certain learning impact. आज हम बहुत ज़्यादा क्रिटिसाइज करते हैं कि मेरा बच्चा किताब नहीं पढ़ता. अगर वो 100 सफ़े की किताब नहीं पढ़ता, वो 5 मिनट की वीडियो देख लेता है. It's another way to learn. It's not that कि वो गलत है और ये सही है. They're different. We have to recognize the difference between the generations now.
And Sajjeed, I mean, speaking of actually being driven, what drives Sajjeed Aslam? What makes Sajjeed Aslam
you bring it out,
wake up in the morning, get ready, go to work? And I see you're all over the place. You travel so much. It's I don't know how you sort of manage it, but you know, you're the first person जिसके पास मैंने वो steam iron भी मैंने देखी है in the bag. It's just yeah, but you do,
it's my tool.
But what I really want to know, what really drives you? I mean, what is it? Is it that you sort of doing something for a, I don't know, it's going beyond your you know, कहते हैं ना कि your scope of work even sometimes. I mean, so what drives you really?
I think scope of work is a one of a limiting factor. I love the JD which says add value. You don't have to really define what you need to do. You have to add value.
Exactly.
So adding value is a big responsibility.
So that is what drives you. That you wake up every morning and you say, you know, you think I need to add value.
For me, like in a current role, I'll come back. But I think throughout my life, there's a one sentence which always used to drive me and still drives me. ये नहीं हो सकता. Right? This one sentence कि ये नहीं हो सकता, ये नहीं किया
आपका तो वो भी एक बहुत मशहूर है, mountains do move.
Yeah,
we always speak about it all the time. Yeah. So yeah.
Mountains do move.
Yeah. So nothing is impossible.
अगर आप मुझे ये कहना कि ये काम सारे कर सकते हैं, I'm not interested in that. Right? When you start saying that यार ये काम नहीं हो सकता, that's where I get interested कि हाँ, let's make an attempt. क्यों कह रहे हैं कि नहीं हो सकता? हो सकता है मुझसे ना हो सकता. I'll get more support and we will try to do that if it's important. In my current role, I think the one thing which really drives me, are we doing sufficient for our members? Are we delivering the right kind of value? Are they expect something which we are not doing right now? Can I do more? Because we are not dealing with the items, we are dealing with the human lives, right? And they have made a lot of effort to become a professional accountant.
बिल्कुल.
उसमें exam से लेके ethics and then 3 years training. So it's a journey. And they have spent money there as well. And in our society, education is not very cheap when you have to go to the private one. आप ACC over the 3-4 years जब आप complete करते हैं, आप 7-8 लाख रुपया खर्च कर चुके होते हैं. You may recover it through the stipend, but you have spent the time, effort, and you have gone through that phase. And जैसे मैंने शुरू में कहा था कि it may be a very good lifestyle, but उसके लिए जो effort 4-5 साल की लगती है वो बहुत ज़्यादा है. And but it's worth it. That's the point. Now, as a ACC हमारी एक primary responsibility होती है कि we create a better environment for our members to flourish, उनकी earning capacity, earning potential, and those are the things which really bring me back to office every morning, excited, motivated that today I'm going to do something which will make a one member happy. I can't make everybody, a one member happy at least, and that's a small smile, thank you, or maybe a change in their life. That's a very big.
Yeah, it's great that, you know, we have a sort of a great responsibility on all of our shoulders. That it's great. Sajjeed, what frustrates you the most?
I think very direct, very candid. Execution focus.
Yeah, no nonsense.
No nonsense. No nonsense.
Thank you, Sajjeed. Thank you so much for being with us today. We've had at least I've really enjoyed hosting Sajjeed today for the Fireside Chat, and I hope that you have enjoyed it too. Thank you very much, Sajjeed.